So we continue with upthrust, and now we see the effect of upthrust. Up till now we had seen that the upthrust is equal to the weight of the liquid displaced by the submerged part of the body. That means अगर मैंने एक पर्टिकुलर डस्टर को मैंने बोला था कि इतना पानी में डाला तो इतना वॉल्यूम जो है उतना वॉल्यूम ऑफ वाटर जो बाहर निकलेगा, दैट अमाउंट ऑफ वेट ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर अमाउंट ऑफ वाटर विल बी इक्वल टू द अपथ्रस्ट व्हिच विल बी गिवन ऑन द बॉडी by that much submerged part. So that is what we saw up till now. Now we see the effect of upthrust, and how do we feel the effect of the upthrust? Now, see, it's a very simple thing. If I don't know whether you have ever try this thing or not, but suppose you take a bucket and you take it into a well and put the bucket inside the well. So when you're putting the bucket inside the well, at that time, because the bucket is empty, you don't feel it. When the bucket is completely inside the water, and it is completely filled with water, still you do not feel the weight of the bucket. Okay, but the moment you get picking it up and you remove it from the water, only then you are able to feel the weight of the bucket filled with water. So you can see that till the time what it was, the bucket was inside the water, the upthrust was helping you to lift the bucket upwards. But the moment you are taking it out from the water, the upthrust can no longer exist because it is no longer in water, and that is why you feel the complete weight of the bucket with the water on your hand. Till the time it is inside the water, you don't feel it. You don't feel that particular thing because the upthrust is going to act on the body. So that is what he mentioned over here, effect of the upthrust. The effect of upthrust is that the weight of the body immersed in the liquid appears to be less than its actual weight. This can be demonstrated by a following experiment: lifting a bucket full of water from a well. Take an empty bucket and tie a long rope to it. If the bucket is immersed in the water for a well, keeping one end of the of a well, keeping one end of the rope in the hand, and the bucket is pulled when it is deep inside the water. We notice that it is easy to pull the bucket as long as it is inside the water. So we are taken is bucket लिया, बांध दिया रोप से, और रोप से हमने पानी में डाल दिया. रोप के साथ में रोप का एक एंड हमने पकड़ के रखा, पूरा बकेट गया अंदर, पानी के अंदर डूब गया बकेट. डूबने के बाद हमने उसको we are trying to pull it up. When you pull it out at that time, till the point the bucket is inside the water, you do not feel the weight. It is very easy to do it. But the moment it is upwards, you feel the weight. So, but as soon as it starts coming out of water surface, it appears to become heavy, and now more force is needed to lift it. This experiment shows that the bucket of water appears lighter inside the water when immersed in the water than in actual air. Similarly, when pulling a fish out of the water, it appears lighter inside water as compared to when it is out of water. Similarly, a body weighed by a sensitive spring balance will weigh slightly less in air than in vacuum due to upthrust of the air on the body. So this is again the point that upthrust also acts on the body when in air, because air also gives you upthrust. So if you are weighing a body in air and then weighing the same body in by a spring balance, okay, by a spring balance, if you are weighing the same body in vacuum, you will find that the weight of the body in the vacuum will be slightly more as compared to the weight of the body in the air. Now we come to the next thing is Archimedes principle. Okay, we have over here is so what we have is Archimedes principle. When a body is immersed in liquid, it occupies the space which was earlier occupied by the liquid. That is, it displaces the liquid, obviously. So when I place this duster in water, so water is going to take the place of the water, the duster is going to take the place of the water which was presently over there. So as soon as I put it inside, the water is getting displaced, obviously. The volume of the liquid displaced by the body is equal to the volume of the submerged part of the body. So the body experiences an upthrust equal to the weight of the liquid displaced by it. So Yeah, we very well know that we have just proved also in the last video that the volume of the liquid displaced by this body, okay, the volume of the liquid displaced by the body is equal to the volume of the submerged part of this body. Okay, volume of the liquid displaced equal to the volume of the submerged part of the body. So the body experiences an upthrust, and that upthrust is equal to the weight of the liquid displaced. Okay, the upthrust is equal to the weight of the liquid displaced by it. It is the upthrust due to which a body immersed in a liquid appears to be of a weight less than the real weight. The apparent loss in the weight is due to the upthrust. This is the Archimedes principle. So Archimedes principle states that when a body immersed partially or completely in a liquid, it experiences an upthrust which is equal to the weight of the liquid displaced by it. So the Archimedes principle is when a body is immersed partially or completely in a liquid, it experiences an upthrust which is equal to the weight of the liquid displaced by the body. Okay, weight of the liquid displaced by it. So that is the Archimedes principle. Very, very important to learn this thing. They ask you Archimedes principle and you need to write it word to word because it's a principle like a law. So Archimedes principle states that when a body is immersed partially or completely in a liquid, it experiences an upthrust which is equal to the weight of the liquid displaced by it. This principle applies not only to liquids but also applies to gases also. So that is why whatever the Archimedes principle is there, it is not only going to be used for the liquids but also for gases. So now let's see some experimental verification of the Archimedes principle. So how do we experimentally verify that Archimedes principle what is given is correct? So Archimedes principle can be verified by either the following experiments. Take two cylinders A and B of the same volume. The cylinder A is solid and the cylinder B is hollow. Suspend the two cylinders from the left arm of the physical balance, keeping the solid cylinder A below the hollow cylinder B. Then balance the beam by keeping weights on right arm of the balance. In this situation, both cylinder A and B are in air. So, first of all, what you do is you are going to take a beam balance. This is the beam balance. So, this is one part and second part. On one part, you are going to take one cylinder over here, which is A, and another cylinder, which is over here, which is B. Now, A is solid, and this is hollow. Okay, this is solid, and this is hollow. Okay, we are taking it ulta. So this is B and this is A. Right? So A is solid. It is given that A is solid and B is hollow. A is solid and B is hollow. And you are going to keep some equivalent mass over here which will balance this particular thing. Okay. Now, so right now when both the cylinders tied at one end of the pan or one end of the beam balance and the weight on one side are equal, so the beam is horizontal. Now then balance the beam by keeping weights on the right of the in this situation both cylinder A and B are in air. The solid cylinder A is now completely immersed in water contained in beaker D placed on a bench C as shown. So what you are going to do is you are going to take a beaker and this beaker will be completely filled with water and you are going to put this particular thing inside water. So now it is inside water. Now because it is inside water, what should happen is that water में तो क्या हो गया? इसका weight तो same ही है. If the weight is same, then this will be remaining horizontal. But you will find that when such a thing happens, when you put this in water over here, this side becomes lighter and hence the thing goes downwards. So you can see that taking care of the cylinder A does not touch the sides of the bottom of the beaker. It is observed that the solid cylinder A loses weight, that is left arm of the balance rises up. So left arm of the balance rises up. Obviously, Okay, here, where is it? Yeah. So this is going to rise up, saying that this is down. Rises, left hand rises up. Obviously, the loss in weight is due to the upthrust or buoyant force of water of the cylinder A. Now pour water gently in the hollow cylinder till it is completely filled. It is observed that the beam balances again. So now what they have done is, in this hollow cylinder, see the way we have taken the same identical hollow cylinder over here. One was solid and one was hollow. So whatever is the capacity of this thing is the same with this volume over here. So if I fill this with water, because this was hollow, so I can easily fill water in it. So if I fill this with water, you will find that this will again horizontally balance. Why? Because the upthrust what we got over here is equal to the liquid displaced, and that liquid displaced जो है वो हम लोग यहाँ पे ऐड कर दिया. तो जितना मैंने यहाँ पे ऐड किया उतना ही यहाँ पे डिस्प्लेस हुआ और उतना ही अपथ्रस्ट था. That is why you are getting balanced. So you can see now pour the water gently in the hollow cylinder till it filled completely. It is observed that the beam balances again. Thus it is clear that the buoyant force acting on solid cylinder A is equal to the weight of the water filled in the hollow cylinder B. Since the cylinders A and B are of equal volume, so the weight of the water in the hollow cylinder B is just equal to the weight of the water displaced by cylinder A. Hence, the buoyant force acting on the cylinder A is equal to the weight of the water displaced by it. Thus, it is verifying the Archimedes principle. So, this is how we are verifying the Archimedes principle. The same thing can be done by an easier method also, which you can also do it if you have a spring balance. So, it is this way. Take a solid, say a metallic piece, suspend it by thin thread from a from a hook on a spring balance and note its weight. So what you are doing is you are taking a spring balance. You are just taking a spring balance. So this is a spring balance. There's a hook over here, and you are connecting to it a load. So this is the mass over here. This is M, the mass. And then what you are going to do is, you are going to take a Eureka can. Now Eureka can looks like this, that it is a can which has got a spout. It has got a spout. Okay. You are going to fill this can up to this much point and then immerse this thing. So what will happen, as you immerse this solid inside this thing, there will be liquid which is going to ooze out, and that out which is coming out, the amount of water which is coming out from the spout over here is collected in a container. You will and you measure this weight of this thing, you will find that over here also, suppose initially when it was in air, the weight showed was 6, and now when you put it inside water, the weight shown is 4. That means the weight has decreased by 2 kg, and if you weigh this thing, you will find that this is also 2 kg. This is nothing but the Archimedes principle, that weight of thrust is equals to weight of the liquid displaced by the submerged part of the body. So that's what we say, that take a Eureka can and fill it with water up to its spout. Arrange the measuring cylinder below the spout of the Eureka can. So you are taking a measuring cylinder, putting it over here, and you are taking the water up to the spout over here. Now you are going to immerse the solid gently into the water of the Eureka can. The water displaced by it is collected in the measuring cylinder. When the water stops dripping through the spout, note the weight of the solid and the volume of the water collected in the measuring cylinder. The solid weighs 300 grams in air and 200 grams when it is completely immersed in water. So initially, जैसे मैंने 6 kg, 4 kg लिया, actually it will never be so high. So they are taken that this is 300 grams. And now it is 200 grams over here. So whereas the thing over here is 100 centimeter cube or 100 m. The solid the volume of the water conducted in measuring cylinder is 100 ml, that is 100 centimeter cube. So loss in water is 300 mass 200 is 100 gram centimeter, and the volume is 100 centimeter cube. Because the density of water is 1 gram per centimeter cube, accordingly that weight of the water displaced will be 100 gf. So therefore, weight of the water displaced is equals to upthrust or loss in weight of the body. Thus, the weight of the water displaced by solid is equal to the loss in weight of the solid. This verifies the Archimedes principle. So this is how we are verifying the Archimedes principle over here. Okay. Now we see the next part over here, and that is solid bodies with density rho greater than density of a liquid rho L sinks, while the density rho less than density of liquid rho L floats. So we see over here that the solids which has got a density greater than the density of the water or the liquid, it is going to float. Okay, if the solid having a density greater than that of the liquid, it will sink, whereas the solids which has got density less than the liquid, it is going to float. Let a body of volume V and density rho is immersed completely in liquid of density rho L. The weight of the body acting downwards will be V rho G, and the maximum upthrust by the body upwards will be FB is equals to V rho Lg. Okay, so let's see this. So we now first of all know that the weight of the body is equals to mass into gravitational force, but mass is equals to volume into density. So that's why W, that is the weight of the body, will be volume of the body, volume of the solid into density of the solid into G. We know that the upthrust FB will be equal to volume of the displaced liquid into density of the liquid into G. Now you can see over here there could be three conditions. So of course it could be W will be greater than FB F dash B, or we can have so in this case what will happen? Vs rho Sg will be greater than Vl rho Lg, but you can see that rho S and rho L are same because they are going to be equal, and G is going to be equal. Therefore rho S will be greater than rho L. We know that if weight is greater than Fb, then automatically this body is going to sink. So accordingly, we can also see that rho S, if it is greater than rho L, then the body will sink. The second condition is if W is less than F dash B or is equal to F dash B. Such a case, this is going to be Vs rho Sg will be less than VL rho Lg or equal to. So we'll take it like this, less than equal to. So this gets cancelled because they are same, this gets cancelled, they are same. So therefore rho S should be greater than, less than rho L or equal to rho L. So for a floating body, this will be a floating body. So you can see that if the density of the object is greater than the density of the liquid, then that body is going to sink. If the density of the body is less than the density of the liquid, then the body is going to float. So if W is greater than F dash B, V rho G is equal to V rho Lg, or rho is greater than rho L, the body will sink due to the net force W minus F dash B acting downwards. If W is equal to F dash B, or V rho G is equal to V L rho G, or rho is equal to rho L, the body will float and the net force of the body is 0. If W is less than F dash B, or V rho G is less than V rho Lg, or rho is less than rho L, the body will float due to the net force F dash B minus W acting upwards, and only that much volume V of the body will submerge inside the liquid due to which upthrust Fb is equal to V rho Lg. Balance the weight W. The net force of the body is 0 in this situation also. So in case the body is floating completely, or means it is such that it is completely submerged inside the water and floating, तो भी the net weight will be 0, and even if it is partially inside and partially outside, the net weight will be of the body, apparent weight of the body will be 0. Thus, a body of density rho sinks in a liquid of density rho L if rho is greater than rho L. So if the density of the liquid is greater than the density of the solid, then the body is going to float, and if the density of the liquid is less than the density of the solid, the body is going to sink. While it will float where rho is equals to rho L, or rho is less than rho L. This can be demonstrated by the following experiment. Take an iron nail and a piece of cork, both of the same mass. First, place the iron nail on the surface of water contained in a cup. The iron nail sinks. It implies that the force of gravity or weight on the iron nail pulling it downwards is greater than the upthrust of water on nail pushing it upwards. Now place the piece of cork on the same surface of water. The cork floats. It means that the upthrust on cork when fully immersed is more than a nail, because the density of water is more than the density of cork, while the density of water is less than the density of iron. Experiment 2 is take few solid bodies of different material of known density and place them on the surface of water. It will be observed that if the density of material of body is equal to or less than the density of water, it floats, implying that the upthrust on the body due to the submerged part is equal to its own weight. Different body floats on water with their different volumes inside the water. If rho is equals to rho W, the body floats with whole of its volume inside water. So if the density of the solid and the density of the liquid is same, then it is going to float inside water in such a way that it is completely submerged in the water, okay, on the surface like this. It is completely submerged on this with only the surface on top of the liquid. So such a case will be when the density of this and the liquid, that is rho, is equal to rho W. Okay, density of the solid is equal to density of the liquid, or W, or water. We'll take it as liquid, so more better. The body floats with if rho is equal to rho W, the body floats with whole of its volume inside the water. While if rho is less than rho W, the body will float only with much volume inside water, by which the upthrust Fb on body balances its weight W. So if it is such that rho is, if the density of the solid is greater than, if less than the rate of this, then it is going to float in such a way that the submerged part, the weight of the upthrust will be such that it will be able to balance that much. Submerged part of the body will provide that much amount of upthrust which could balance the weight of the body. Okay, only that much part of the body will submerge. Okay, only that much part of the body will submerge, which will be able to accommodate, or which will be equal to balance the total weight of the body. On the other hand, if the density of the material body is more than the density of the water, the body sinks, because the upthrust due to water on the body is less than its weight. So Fb is less than W. Thus the bodies of density greater than that of liquid sink in it, while the bodies of average density equal to or smaller than the liquid floats on it. An empty tin can or an iron ship floats on a water because its average density is less than the density of water. See, what is density? Density is mass upon volume. So even if it is a very huge ship of tons and tons of mass, if the volume of that ship is made in such a way that its volume is equal to mass, that means it is such that the volume numerical value, the magnitude of the volume is greater than the mass, then the magnitude of the mass, then automatically it is going to have a density which will be less than 1. That means the body will float. So that is exactly how the ship is being made. Ship is made hollow. Because it is made hollow, that is why it will have a bigger volume. And when it have a bigger volume, automatically it will have more upthrust. Okay, more the volume, more the upthrust. That's what was one of the factors of it. So the average density of a hollow body is the ratio of the mass of the body, that is equal to the mass of the material of the body plus mass of the air enclosed to its total volume. So that's the average density, that is the density of the air inside it as well as the the material inside it. So material used for making it. So this is about the explanation of the first part of the chapter, that is about upthrust, Archimedes principle, and principle of flotation is the next part. So this is the part, and this has got numericals, 10 of them. So we can just try with these ones one by one. Or better will be that I'll start in the next video, so that you have a proper video of numericals only.